The world was shocked on September 11th, 2001, when 19 Islamic hijackers commandeered 4 jets filled with passengers and then flew them into the 2 World Trade Center towers in New York City and the Pentagon in order to kill as many infidels as possible. One of the 4 jets crashed in a field in Pennsylvania when the passengers fought back. 9/11 was the worst attack on U.S. soil by any foreign powers. The death toll was nearly 3,000 Americans. Brian Birdwell, retired from the Army, was in the Pentagon that day.
I only had a nanosecond from the time I heard the sound to the next moments of being tossed around like a rag doll, set on fire, burning, and then beginning the process of struggling to survive.
Some Muslims, in tandem with a sympathetic media and culture at large, have tried to downplay the Islamic angle of 9/11, such as U.S. Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, a native of Somalia.
CARE was founded after 9/11 because they recognized that some people did something.
Here we bring people like Ilhan Omar, who comes to our country, paid for by our tax dollars, educated in American schools, paid for by our tax dollars, ends up becoming a member of Congress, elected by American citizens. And here we have a member of Congress who is ungrateful for this country, who does not believe America is exceptional, who talks about 9/11 as, oh, some people did something, as if completely removed, as if something completely brushed away that meant nothing to her.
What was 9/11 all about? Why did this seemingly unprovoked attack come about in the first place? And were the Muslim hijackers hijacking Islam, as many on the left have insisted?
Political correctness has made us ignorant. It's taught us that we can't say anything about Islam because then we will be considered being mean to Muslims. Well, no one is advocating being violent to Muslims on the street, but we do need to understand what Islam is, and we need to prefer that religion which we agree with. I'm a believer in Jesus Christ. I'm a born-again believer, and I see the fruit that has come from Christianity. Whether you're a Christian or not, men and women have benefited from governments that were established. Christian principles, biblical principles, create for a great society.
The American media is determined to whitewash Islam, to explain away every incident of Islamic violence, even when the perpetrators avow that they were doing it for Islam and under Islamic auspices.
But we hear repeatedly that Islam is a religion of peace. How does that square with 9/11?
Islam is a religion of peace, yes. The peace that Islam envisions is the peace that will come when the whole world is ruled by Islamic law, and Muslims have the obligation to wage war against non-Muslims until that time. And so it's a religion of violence and hatred and supremacism, ultimately culminating in an era of peace that will see the essential enslavement of non-Muslims.
You know, Islam may be a number of things, but religion of peace is not one of them. Muhammad was a warrior. He was, a warrior prophet. You start out with Westerners declaring Islam a religion of peace to try to cultivate relations with those people who are convincibles in the Muslim world. All well-intentioned. You keep doing this sort of stuff over the years, and then the next thing you do is you're purging everything that Americans need to know about Islamic ideology. You're taking Islam off the table, even though what any basic book of good intelligence, good warfare, good law enforcement would tell you is it's important to know what the other guy thinks so that you can anticipate what he'll do next.
The Quran says, Surah 929, slay the infidel wherever you find them. 9/11 was, in their mind, a step in bringing the non-Muslim world into submission to Allah.
Scholars of Islam and Christianity note that the active jihadists, like the 9/11 hijackers, did what they did because of their belief that they would enter paradise that way.
A Christian can know for sure that they're going to heaven, but there is no assurance of salvation in Islam, that it is a religion of works. There's even a verse where Muhammad said, though I'm the prophet of Allah, I do not know what Allah will do with me. So even he did not have assurance. But there is one way that they can have an assurance of salvation is if they die killing an infidel.
Suicide bombing recruiters are trying to get suicide bombers. They tell them, you'll enter paradise this way, it's guaranteed.
They believe that, well, if we are killed, we will go straight into paradise. It's much easier for us to go into paradise that way than to performing all the ritual performance and everything and still not knowing that we are going to paradise of God or not. But because the Quran says that martyrs killed in the way of God or in the fight for God, they will go straight into the paradise of God.
The ultimate goal of Islamic jihadists is to bring Sharia law to the whole world. Thus, Sharia and jihad are essentially two sides of the same coin. But what exactly is Sharia?
The word Sharia is an Arabic word meaning literally the way. It's the way to live. And Sharia is a set of very detailed laws based on the Quran, the Hadith, and the word Hadith means sayings of Muhammad, and also it's based on the lifestyle of Muhammad. Whatever Muhammad did in the 7th century became the law for Muslims to live by forever.
Scholars note that Sharia, strict Islamic law, and the U.S. Constitution don't mesh.
The Constitution is a document that's extraordinary in so many respects, but it is enshrining freedoms that Sharia does not recognize, does not actually permit. Whether it's religious freedom, whether it's freedom of speech, whether it's freedom of assembly, whether it's, the right to make your own laws as free men and women in a Republican or democratic process. Anathema under Sharia. There is one law, it is God's law, it is dictated by Allah, it is formed by, among other things, the practice of Muhammad. And it is a blasphemy to suggest that any of that is other than perfect.
We do not understand as a country that weakness invites aggression. That when you are accommodating to the fundamentalists, they view that as weakness and they take that as an indicator from Allah that they're supposed to attack you.
This is the time to speak up. This is the time to preach the liberating gospel of Jesus Christ and to explain to people there's a reason to prefer Christianity over Islam. All you have to do is look at history.